Welcome to the Copperfield Electric podcast. Today we are doing a really crucial deep dive into something that frankly can be pretty terrifying for homeowners. We're talking about navigating the sudden, urgent world of electrical emergencies. Our source material for this is the 24/7 Emergency Electrician Immediate Help Guide, and it really offers a kind of shortcut for you, the listener. Our mission today, it's really about moving past that moment of panic. We want to help you define what actually is an electrical emergency. What are those non-negotiable warning signs that mean you need help now? And also understand the standards, the really high operational standards of the professionals who are available around the clock to keep us safe.
Yeah, and what's really interesting here, I think, is getting to the core of why 247 service exists. It's not just, about calling someone late at night for a minor issue. It's truly about immediate risk mitigation. We're talking serious dangers, electrical shocks, potential fire hazards, system failures that could cause huge damage. Having that quick, trained response available day or night, holidays, whenever. That's the essential barrier. It stops a manageable emergency turning into, well, something catastrophic. It really reframes how secure you feel in your own home.
That security is absolutely paramount. I mean, electrical grids don't exactly check the clock, do they?
Not at all.
But this brings up a basic question. What exactly makes a 247 emergency electrician different from, say, the standard electrician you might call for a planned kitchen remodel? Let's maybe unpack that difference in, training and readiness.
Okay, yeah. The distinction is really both logistical and about specialization. Your standard electrician, they schedule work, right? Non-urgent things like putting in new fixtures, routine maintenance checks, planned stuff. A 245 emergency electrician, though, they operate totally differently. They're essentially on permanent standby. That means they have to maintain rapid deployment capabilities. So think dedicated staffing, specialized tools just for emergencies. And honestly, the mental readiness to walk into an active, potentially dangerous situation at, 3 a.m., and that readiness, that immediate availability, it obviously comes with an operational cost. When you call that emergency number, you're paying for that immediacy, yes, but also for their very specialized training in troubleshooting live, dangerous faults. They're equipped to handle complex things like short circuits or ground faults right then and there. A standard electrician might need to schedule a visit just to diagnose, then another to fix it.
That makes total sense. So you're kind of paying for the infrastructure that ensures someone can be at your door quickly, ready to potentially stop a fire or, worse.
Exactly. Peace of mind has a structure behind it.
Okay, let's pivot then. This is probably the most critical, actionable stuff for our listeners. There's a key section in this guide that really gets into something tricky. How do you know if it's just an annoyance? Maybe a breaker tripped because you ran the microwave and toaster at once, or if it's a genuine immediate hazard. This is where the guide gets really specific. It details these 4 absolute red flag moments when you must call an emergency professional right away.
Yes, the source is very clear on this, listing 4 specific signs. The first one is a persistent power outage. Now, most people know the first step. Check your breaker box. If a breaker's tripped, you try resetting it. Simple enough. But if you reset that breaker and bam, it immediately trips again. Or if the main power to the house is out and flipping those breakers does absolutely nothing, that's different. That signals a complex failure.
Okay, so not just a simple overload.
Right. It means the issue isn't just too much demand on the circuit. It's likely something more serious, like a persistent short circuit, or maybe a ground fault hidden somewhere deep in the wiring. These are major problems, current anomalies that can generate dangerous amounts of heat. They absolutely cannot be ignored. And really, only an expert using specialized diagnostic tools can safely find and fix that kind of fault.
That's a really useful distinction. Tripping once, maybe, okay. Tripping again immediately after you reset. That's a call you need to make. Okay, what about the really scary signs, like actually getting shocked? The second warning sign is electrical shocks. Why is even a tiny little jolt, maybe just touching an appliance or an outlet, considered such a major safety failure?
Well, because any shock, doesn't matter how minor it feels, it signifies that electricity is flowing outside its intended path, somewhere. It means there's a breakdown in the insulation or a ground fault has happened. This could potentially make the metal casing of your washing machine or the faceplate of an outlet live with electricity. It's basically proof that a critical safety mechanism within your system has failed. And the guide really stresses this. Never just brush it off. Don't wait until morning. It needs immediate attention.
And the instinct for some might be, I don't know, grab some electrical tape or just try to avoid touching that spot again, hoping it was just static electricity or something. That's a big mistake homeowners make, right? We need to stop doing that.
Absolutely. Trying to DIY a fix on an outlet or appliance that shocked you is incredibly dangerous. You really need a professional immediately to figure out exactly what's wrong before someone gets a much more serious, potentially life-threatening shock.
Okay, so persistent outages, any kind of shock. What's number 3? This one feels obvious, but maybe has nuances. Fire or smoke. If you smell something burning or you actually see smoke coming from wires or an outlet, I mean, most people's first instinct is probably 911, right?
Yes, and that's the right instinct if there's an active fire. Safety first, always call 911.
So why call the emergency electrician too? Maybe even at the same time, what's their role?
The electrician plays a crucial immediate role that isn't firefighting. It's about de-energization. If the source of the smoke or fire is electrical, the electrician is the one who can safely and quickly cut the power specifically to that faulty circuit, or as necessary to the whole house. This stops the electrical fault from continuing to feed the fire. They're specialized in safely shutting down the system. Firefighters often rely on them to do that when they arrive on scene.
Okay, so they handle the source of the electrical problem feeding the fire. Makes sense.
Exactly. And then finally, the fourth critical sign, flickering lights. This one's tricky because it often is dismissed. People think, oh, it's just an old bulb, or maybe a loose connection in the lamp itself, a minor nuisance. But the guide points out, when lights are consistently flickering across multiple fixtures in your house, especially maybe when a large appliance turns on, that's highly concerning.
Okay, so how does flickering cross the line from just annoying to a real hazard?
It signals instability in the electrical supply. Very often it points to loose connections or compromised terminals somewhere in the wiring. And this can lead to something called arcing.
Arcing, what's that?
Arcing is essentially when electricity jumps across a small air gap between conductors, like at a loose wire nut or a faulty connection point. This action, this jump, generates tremendous, very localized heat, tiny little lightning bolts inside your walls. And these arcing faults, they are the #1 cause of electrical house fires.
Wow. #1 cause.
Yes, which is why the guide hammers this point. If your lights are putting on a consistent flickering show, it could be a sign of dangerous heat building up somewhere. It needs quick investigation and fixing before it potentially becomes catastrophic.
So if your house starts looking like a disco and you didn't plan it, that's a direct warning sign. That's a huge piece of actionable info right there.
Definitely. Don't ignore the light show.
Okay, so we know the 4 big red flags now. Persistent outage, shocks, fire smoke, and that concerning flickering. Now, the logistics. Who do you actually call when one of these happens? The source material we looked at uses Copperfield Electric as a kind of case study, really, illustrating the high standard that these emergency service providers must meet.
Exactly. They serve as a good benchmark in the guide. Because look, in a crisis moment, you need absolute confidence in the person walking up to your door, right? And Copperfield's approach, as described, really addresses this directly. They're highlighted as a family-owned business, okay, but maybe more importantly for the homeowner in that moment, their professionals are rigorously vetted. They're licensed, the guide even gives a number, LIDIC. Hashtag 1094740. They're experienced, bonded, insured, and background checked. That whole list, that comprehensive credentialing, it basically removes a layer of worry and risk for the homeowner during what's already a super stressful time.
That's vital, yeah. The last thing you need at 3 a.m. is to worry if the person you just let into your house is, qualified or trustworthy. And they also back their work with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. That feels like a pretty strong commitment, especially when you're dealing with urgent, complex, potentially messy electrical issues.
It is. And they emphasize prioritizing fast, reliable, and affordable solutions. That's critical, too, because people worry about being taken advantage of in an emergency situation. But the guides also point something else out that's interesting. They aren't just an emergency crew. They're a full-service electrical provider. And that breadth of experience actually gives them a deeper understanding of the entire electrical system they might be troubleshooting in an emergency.
That connection between emergency work and their regular comprehensive services, that's important. It shows they understand the whole picture, things like load balancing, the demands of modern tech, not just quick patch fixes. Let's touch on that breadth of expertise they mention, especially since they focus on the Orange County market. They list services like electrical installation for new construction, including ADUs accessory dwelling units, which are like everywhere in Southern California right now.
Huge, yeah. And look how relevant their other services are to modern needs. EV charger installation for homes and businesses, that's a big one. And the crucial electrical panel upgrades that often have to go along with EV chargers or adding an ADU. Think about it. An emergency tech who also routinely installs brand new panels. they're going to have a much better grasp of how load failures and system inefficiencies can lead to those four critical warning signs we talked about.
Right, they see both ends of the
Yeah,
spectrum.
exactly. They offer a holistic view, from panel replacements down to installing and maintaining safer, modern home outlets.
So they're equipped to handle failures in older homes, but also fully understand the demands and potential issues with all the new technology we're adding simultaneously.
Absolutely. And that expertise is also very localized, which loops back to that rapid readiness point we discussed earlier. The guide specifically identifies Copperfield Electric as the trusted 24-hour electrician in Orange County.
Right. And when the guide lists out specific service areas, Irvine, Anaheim, Santa Ana, Costa Mesa, Newport Beach, Laguna Beach, Mission Viejo, plus surrounding areas in SoCal, that's not just a maybe list, is it? It's a statement about their coverage.
Precisely. That kind of geographical specificity, listing those cities, it's really a statement about their logistical capability. It essentially implies or guarantees that their technicians are positioned strategically across that region, so they can actually achieve the rapid response time that's necessary for a true life-safety electrical emergency across what is a very dense, highly populated area. They've basically mapped their operational readiness right onto the listener's local map in Orange County.
Okay, this has been a really crucial, I think, and very detailed deep dive. Let's recap the core insight just quickly. Electrical emergencies, they're not just inconvenient, they are fundamentally about immediate safety. And knowing those four key warning signs, we covered that power outage that just won't stay reset, feeling any kind of electrical shock, seeing any signs of fire or smoke from wiring or outlets, and those persistent, concerning, flickering lights that could signal arcsing. Knowing those signs is absolutely crucial so you can act fast and call a licensed, specialized professional.
And that brings us nicely to the final thought we wanted to leave you with today. It connects this immediate emergency service idea to being, well, proactive about safety. The source material we reviewed notes that Copperfield actually offers competitive pricing for diagnosis and troubleshooting for homeowners who are just, concerned about potential failures or malfunctions before an emergency happens.
Ah, the preventative angle.
Exactly. So if we connect this to the bigger picture, here's the question for you listening. Are you currently just waiting for your lights to start that flickering dance signaling arcing, or waiting until you hear that persistent buzzing sound behind the wall that might become a fire hazard? Waiting for one of those four critical signs before you call. I mean, when you consider the potential costs of fire damage or, God forbid, a serious injury from a shock, is the competitive price of getting a professional troubleshooting call really higher than dealing with the aftermath? Think about your insurance deductible after a catastrophic event. Prevention in electrical safety is almost always cheaper and definitely less stressful than the cure.
That's a powerful point. A proactive approach saves money, massive stress, and potentially even lives. But if the worst does happen tonight, tomorrow night, anytime, remember that help like Copperfield Electric is available 24/7. You now know the four signs that absolutely demand immediate attention. If you see them, if you experience them, please do not wait. Get help right away.